So, having started your career as a policeman, Al, how did you end up on the wrong side of the law?
Well, I would never have anticipated that would ever have happened. That's the first thing. Yeah, had it not been for drinking, my predilection for alcohol, I would never have wandered across the other side of the wall.
No, I can't imagine you've ever doing anything wrong, to
No.
be honest. You're such a placid, easygoing chap that I know now.
Yeah.
You know, wouldn't harm a fly, but
Listen, that just, you know, it doesn't just happen to me. You know, it affects a lot of people that way.
yeah, you broke the law, obviously, on
Yes.
a few occasions.
Yeah.
Did you break the law on more than one occasion?
Yeah, I did, but it was aggression. It wasn't, you know, I never stole from nobody. I mean, so bearing in mind, I was an honest policeman. I mean, even when we used to get alarms, and I can remember when, as a young copper, you'd go into the premises when the keyhole were there, and then you'd have to do a search of somewhere like Marks and Spencer's, and then they used to have these big pick and mix shelves, and I can remember, you know, one of the police officers, like, where he'd pinch a sweet,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, nothing to it, was it? But no, me, nothing,
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. I even found it difficult having a cup of tea
Yeah.
off people because it was, you know, not quite right. Anyway, but no, so things like, yeah, it was primarily aggression. Frustrations would come out, anger would come out, irritations would come out, everything that I could cope with sober and deal with and move on from didn't happen when I drank. It was my body, my mind would express it in through. I didn't have the control. I didn't have the control, and I know. I mean, you know, almost half of all assaults are alcohol related. Domestic violence. You know, a third of domestic violence. It's probably even more than that because a lot of domestic violence
Not reported.
not reported. How many times does a husband or a wife, you know, wallop each other, and that never gets recorded as such? So, and most of it is alcohol related.
Yeah. Did you drink and drive?
I did.
A lot.
Again, yeah, and not once did I want to do that sober. Not once. And yet, when I drank, bang, that was it. Control out the window.
Jekyll and Hyde came.
But it's because it kills inhibitions. It dampens inhibitions. I mean, alcohol disrupts and inhibits brain function associated with processing and moderation of moods, emotions, perceptions, judgments, reaction times, coordination, and behaviour. Which means the control mechanisms that we have that ensure that we are law-abiding citizens in the main, that gets knocked out. So we don't have control. We don't have control. And some, you know, again, people might think, oh, well, I do. You know, I don't go around punching people. I don't get in a car and drive. And I hear police officers on the television when I watch traffic cops and things like that. You know, and police officers will say, you know, he chose to get in the car and drink. Technically speaking, I suppose they did, but choice under the influence of alcohol is not clear. People are behaving in ways that they wouldn't do sober.
The addict inside them is taking over.
Not necessarily, no. It doesn't. You don't have to be addicted. Anyone who drinks can experience similar circumstances, similar after effects, and outcomes of drinking ethanol because it removes inhibitions. But not only does it remove these inhibitions, the parts of our brain, the conscious, the bits that instruct us what's right and what's wrong, the morals, go out the window. That's why there's a lot of sexual misconduct in alcohol. Morals go out the window. That's why, unfortunately, again, there are a lot of babies born that wouldn't have been born. A lot of pregnancies occur because people take less precautions when they've had a drink and then live to regret it. It's all part. Mine was aggression. Yeah, sexual behaviour as well was less safe, because quite simply, no different to anybody else, alcohol removes inhibitions, and as I said, your conscience is whittled down to dangerous levels, I suppose. You end up doing things that you wouldn't dream of doing. And I've heard thousands of people who've experienced exactly the same things.
So when the craving kicks in and the inhibitions disappear, that's a dangerous combination.
Don't mix the two. Cravings are going to disappear if you drink alcohol. Irrespective of whether you experiencing cravings or not. Cravings fuel your drinking. That ensures you drink and carry on drinking, and you drink to excess. That's what the cravings do. Right? It propagates your drinking. It ensures you carry on doing it, even necessarily when you don't. I mean, it's easy for anyone to tell whether they have cravings or not. I just say to some people, take my challenge, and they say, "What's that, Al?" And I say, "Right, go out and buy yourself. Go and buy your favourite tipple. Let's say, for example, it's a small bottle of wine, right?" And I just say to them, "Right, put that in the fridge now. Don't touch it. Leave it in the fridge 7 days. Right? Don't touch it at all. On the 8th day, take it out of the fridge. Pour yourself 1 unit, which for wine would be a small glass. If it was lager, of course, it'd be like half a pint. And have yourself 1 unit on the Sunday, on the 1 day, on the 8th day. Then put it back in the fridge. Leave it for another 7 days. Don't touch any alcohol whatsoever on the 7 days. Then on the 8th day after that, take it out of the fridge, pour it down the sink. Right?
Mm.
Now then, if you can't do that, welcome to the club."
That's a great test.
Because and the reason why I came up with that challenge is that when I had a drink, I had no control. I had to carry on. B, I could never pour alcohol away. There was another one.
And it probably never went back in the fridge when it came out.
No. This is it. This is Caroline always. She laughs at me now, because if she asks me to pull a cork on a bottle of wine, the first thing I do, I don't even think about it, go straight in the bin.
Yeah.
And she said, "What do you throw that cork there for? You only wanted a glass." As I said to me, that's abnormal drinking.
Yeah.
So that's my challenge to anyone watching this. If they turn around, and if you turn around and say, "Oh, I don't need to do that," well, so welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club. You've admitted that you sometimes overreacted to certain situations. Tell me about the time when you were in a bar and you went over to some random bloke and tipped a drink over his head.
Yeah, well, I mentioned just now, about how ethanol, alcohol, it disrupts brain function, with your reasoning and as well. And I was sat drinking. I don't know, I've been drinking all day probably, and I saw these two guys suited up, and they probably would have been about 30 yards from me, I suppose. And I just got the impression there was an older guy and a younger guy, and I just got the impression the older guy was the boss. And from my perception of their body language, it looked to me like this older guy was not telling this younger chap off, but there was body posturing that suggested to me that this young guy was having a bit of a time of it.
Was this the policeman in you coming out?
No.
Well,
I don't know. It's possible. But again, I've always been a protector of the underdog. I would always stand out against injustice wherever I saw it. Really. Anyway, on this day, I don't know. I got up, took my pint over, and I poured this pint over the old guy's head, and I pointed to him. I said, "And that's for him," meaning the young one. I felt I was doing this young guy. I was doing him some justice.
Yeah. Did he thank you?
They looked totally stunned. They were just stunned. I mean, I've always been a biggish sort of guy, tall, and they never said anything. They just stunned, and I turned around and walked out, and that was the end of it.
So sitting in that chair, looking at these two chaps having a discussion, did you become paranoid over something, or it was just the fact that you thought?
No, I wasn't paranoid. I Well, I was on my own, so I mean, I wasn't being sociable for a start. I was just there. I was just drinking. I was doing what my body was demanding of me. I was feeding my habit. But I was looking in their direction, and it caught my attention.
But you'd never have done that if you had been sober.
Of course not.
No.
Of course not.
No.
Of course not.
Being in a pub, Alder, do you get into fights?
Not purposely. I'd gone in a pub in Cumbraen. I'd been drinking all day again, it's usual story. And I was there till chucking out time. And everybody that was there kind of rolled outside. I don't know, 11:15 at night, something like that. And I propped myself up on a window ledge outside this pub. And there was loads of people there, drunk, just laughing, joking, and milling around. And again, I was on my own. And out of the blue, one of these drunken yobs, came straight out. I didn't know who he was. He came straight at me. He pulled me onto the floor, and he was just punching away. He was just having a go. And I didn't know. I wasn't expecting it. I don't think I did anything to encourage it or to warrant it. And I remember he was on top of me, and I couldn't. I was too drunk to even fight back.
Mm.
I remember biting into his hand, because I felt as if I was going to be pasted. And then the police arrived and luckily pulled him off, and we both got arrested. So I was quite indignant, I'd been assaulted. We got locked, chucked in cells, and
in the morning, did you remember any of it?
Yeah, I remembered it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was protesting my innocence. I can remember saying to the desk sergeant, I used to be a policeman. I know my rights. This guy assaulted me. Like, why have you arrested me? And these two coppers were just walking out, and one of them turned to me and he said, "If you were what you said you were, you should know just to shut up."
Yeah.
And penny dropped, and I started to comply with their. Anyway, they locked. We were in the cells, we were in different cells, and the sergeant came in a bit later on, and he said the other guy have admitted assaulting you for no provocation at all. So he was charged with assault, and I was let free. But the fact of the matter is, even though I'd done nothing, I came out worse for wear, simply being in the wrong place, at the wrong time. Was through drink.
That's when someone attacked you. Then,
yeah.
Did you attack anybody in?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Other people.
Yeah. Yeah, I could be antisocial in drink. I was living in flats. I had a ground floor flat. I can remember one night again, worse for drink. And there was this Irish guy living up above me. And they'd been out drinking. Him and a friend had been out drinking, these two guys. And to get into the flats, there was a foyer. There were electronic door fobs to get in. And there was a foyer and a lift. And instead of them coming through the foyer, getting in the lift and going home, they stayed in the foyer and they were making noise.
Yeah.
And I just opened the door, went out there in a pair of jogging bottoms and just beat the two of them up. I just laid them out.
Yeah.
Nothing ever came of it. Just looking back on it, any provocation would trigger aggression.
This was in the drink. This is while drinking.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I was never like it sober.
Yeah.
I was never like it sober.
Were you angry, Al, most of the time?
I suppose there was part of me that was unhappy with life, circumstances.
The circumstances you were in,
Yeah.
knowing that you were drinking.
No, not the drink. The drink was my answer. The drink was my solution to these problems.
Yeah.
Or I thought it was.
You didn't have a problem though, did you?
Well,
at the time.
I didn't have problems. No, I didn't have problems, but you know, I mean, it changed my perception. I've said in other videos that I have a Jekyll and Hyde personality, and I've seen it in many others too. As you said, people that can be the nicest people in the world, you know, they can be the most charming. My granddad was. He could charm birds out of trees. And I read Clarissa Dixon Wright's autobiography, Spilling the Beans, and her father was the Queen Mother's surgeon. This is just to give you an example. Yeah, and he raised millions for charities, and because Clarissa was alcoholic, so her father used to drink in these big conventions and stuff, and fundraising activities. And he would go home and he'd assault them. He attacked her with a red hot poker. Now, this was the Queen surgeon, a guy who'd operated on Saddam Hussein, you know, and was given a big villa out in Baghdad, you know, for doing that. He was flown over purposely to, you know, before the wars and everything like that.
Yeah.
Fascinating autobiography, if anyone's interested. But again, it highlights the differences between people in drink and out of drink. And the trouble is, most people, if they have a drink, can control it. Again, another challenge for people, anyone watching this, set yourself a limit of a night time. Say to yourself, you know, I'm only going to go out tonight and have 3 glasses of wine. Or I'm only going to go out and have 3 pints. Now, bearing in mind, you could be taking 2 units for each of those. You know, so you could be taking 6 units. Bearing in mind the weekly guideline for the British guideline now is about 14 units spread over 3 or more days. So but don't worry about that. Don't worry about the British guideline. Set yourself a limit. Say, right, I'm going to have 3 pints and bang, that's it. And see if you can stick to it. If you can stick to it, you can control it. If you can stick to it, see if you can stick to it more than once. And if you can't, welcome to the club.
Mm.
Because that's it. The addiction fuels the repetitive patterns of drinking, and then the harm kicks in from that consumption.
Yeah.